I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on solving question paper of IGCSE. Now here is part 2 in which we are going to solve question number 12 to 20. Question number 12 is prove that the square of an odd number is always one more than a multiple of 4. Now square of an odd number can be written as what? Odd numbers can be written as 2n plus 1, right? So that becomes an odd number. Now let's find the square of odd number. So square of odd number will be 2n plus 1 whole square, right? You could write this as a square, which is 2n square plus 2 times 2n times 1 plus 1 square, which is 4n square plus 4n plus 1. Now 4n can be taken common, right? So we can take 4n common and we get n plus 1 and plus 1. Now as you can see here, the term which is the first term here is a multiple of 4. So this term is a multiple of 4. And to this multiple we are adding 1, right? So that is how you can prove. Hence, hence square of an odd number will always be one more than multiple of 4. Clear? So that is how we can prove it. Now let's see question number 13. Question number 13 is square root of 5 times square root of 8 plus square root of 18 can be written in the form a square root 10, where a is an integer. Find the value of a. Okay, so we could write this as 5 times square root of 8 plus square root of 18. Now 8 can be written as 4 plus 2, right? So we could write this as 5 times within square root 4 times 2 plus 18 can be written as 9 times 2. So that means we could write this as square root of 4 is 2, 2 square root 2 plus square root of 9 is 3, 3 square root 2. And this can be written as square root of 5 times 2 square root 2 plus 3 square root 2 is 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 square root 2. Now when you multiply, you get 5 square root 10, right? So if I say 5 square root 10 is same as a square root 10, so this implies that a is equal to 5. Clear? So that's what you can do. The next question here is question number 14, which is y is inversely proportional to d square. Now when we say y is inversely proportional to d square, means y is proportional to 1 over d square. When d equals to 10, y equals to 4. Well, all this can also be written as y equals to some constant k over d square. Now the condition is that when d equals to 10, y equals to 4, right? So y equals to 4 for d equals to 10. So we can substitute this value y equals to 4 and d equals to 10 to find the value of k. So that means 4 times 10 square is equal to k, and that gives you the value of k as 400. Correct? So we get our equation y equals to 400 over d square. So let's call this as our equation number 1. The second condition is d is directly proportional to x squared. When x equals to 2, d equals to 24. Now, the question really is, find a formula for y in terms of x, give your answer in a simplest form. So we need to really relate y and x. Well, in the second condition, we are given that d is directly proportional to x squared, right? So that's what we are given. That means d is equal to, now some other constant, let's say c, into x squared, where c is a constant. We can find the value of c by substituting x equals to 2 and d equals to 24, right? So d is 24, x is 2. C will be 24 divided by 2 square, which is 24 divided by 4, which is 6. So we get the value of C as equal to 6, right? Now we can write this relation as D equals to 6x squared. Let's call this as our equation number 2. We need to relate y and x. So let me substitute d as 6x squared in our first equation. So let's substitute 2 in 1, right? So when we do that substitution, we get y equals to 400 divided by d squared. So instead of d squared, we are writing 6x squared whole square, correct? So that gives us 400 over 36x to the power of 4, right? So we get a relation. Now let us simplify this relation. So let's simplify this relation. We get y equals to 400 over 36 times 1 over x to the power of 4. Now both can be divided by 4. So that means 100 over 9, right? So that gives us 100 over 9 x to the power of 4, correct? So we get our relation y equals to 100 over 9 x to the power of 4. So that becomes our answer, right? Let me rewrite the answer here. We get y equals to 100 over 9 x to the power of 4. So I'd like you to go through these steps once again, understand, and then move forward to the next question. Question number 15. Factorize a square minus b square. Well, that is a plus b times a minus b, right? So this is how you can factorize a square minus b square, difference of square. The question is, hence or otherwise simplify fully x square plus 4 whole square minus x square minus 2 whole square, right? So now think like this first term is a, right? So think this term here is a and this term is b. So we could write x square plus 4 whole square minus x square minus 2 whole square as equal to first term a, right? So x square plus 4 plus the second term plus x minus 2, right? Times, sorry. So we have written a plus b. Now we write a minus b, right? So a is x square plus 4 minus of the second term, which is x minus 2. Is that clear to you? Correct? So that gives us x squared plus x plus 4 minus 2 is plus 2 times x squared minus x plus 4 plus 2 is plus 6. Okay? So that is how we can factorize. Now x squared plus x plus 2, product of 2 you can get only as 2 times 1. Now that from there you cannot get 1. Here 3 times 2. We could factor this part, right? So we could write this as x square plus x plus 2. 3 times 2 is 6. I can take 3 minus. So we can write this as x minus 3 times x plus 2. Correct? So that is how we could fully factor this one. So I hope the steps are absolutely clear. Now let's take the next question, which is question number 16. I would like you to pause the video, answer this question, and then look into my suggestions. Question number 16. There are only red counters, blue counters, and purple counters in a bag. The ratio of the number of red counters to number of blue counters is 3:17. Sam takes at random a counter from the bag. The probability that the counter is purple is 0.2. Work out the probability that Sam takes a red counter. Okay. So what we are given here is that we have a bag in which we have red counters, blue counters, and purple counters. Correct? Now, as far as red and blue counters are concerned, the ratio is 3:7. That means if there are x red counters and 3x red counters, then the blue counters are 17x, correct? We don't know this number. But what we know here is that the probability of purple is 0.2. That is what is given to us, correct? We need to find the probability that Sam takes a red counter. And what we need to find is probability of picking up a red counter. That is what is the question. Okay. So, since probability of picking purple, let me write purple in full, is 0.2. That basically means 2/10, right? Or you could write this as 1/5. That is given to us. The other two are either red or blue. So we can say that the probability of red or blue is 1 minus 1/5. That gives us 5 minus 1/5 or 4/5. Okay. So the probability of picking up red or blue is 4/5. Now, we want to know what is the probability of picking up red. Now, if we know that probability of red or blue is 4/5, probability of red only will be what? It is 3/17, or rather 3/20 of red or blue, correct? So when we say that when we say that red and blue are in the ratio of 3:17, that means basically if we have 20, then the probability of red is 3/20, correct? So that means this is probability of red only is 3 out of 3 plus 17 or 4 out of 5. Clear? So that means it is 3 out of 20 times 4 out of 5. So that gives you that we could actually simplify this. 4 goes 5 times, so it gives us 3 out of 25. Clear? So that is how we can get the probability of red only. Right. So this is one way of doing it. Here is an alternate method. Now, in this example, we are given that if there are 20 blue and red counters, then 3 of them will be red and 17 will be blue. We are also given that the probability of purple is 0.2 or 1 out of 5. Correct. So let us consider that we have total of since 20 and 5 gives you 100, right? So since the probability of purple is 0.2. That is 1/5 are purple. So in that case, 1/5 will be purple, right? So 1/5 of 100. That means 1 out of 5 of 100 will be purple, which basically means 20 are purple, correct? Now if 20 are purple, in that case, we all know that 4/5 of this quantity 100 will be both of them, right? So 4/5 will be out of 100, we know there will be 80. Correct? Now in 80, how many will be red and how many will be blue? In 80, it will be, so we know that from 20, it is 3 and 17, so 4 times, right? So 12, which is 4 times 3. And here we'll have 4 times 17 out of 80. 4 times 7 is 28, 8 and 2, which is 68. So 68 will be blue. So what we can see here is that the red will be 12 out of 100, right? So from here, we know red are 12 out of 100. So from here, we can say probability of red is 12 out of 100, which is same as 3 over 25, right? So that could be the alternate method, correct? So what we get here is that probability for red is basically equals to 3 out of 25. You could use any of these methods. So this method is straightforward, much simpler. You can assume that there are 100 in all. We have selected the number 100 mainly because the probability for purple is 1 over 5 and this is like out of 20 given to us. So 20 times 5 is 100 is a convenient number to work with, and that's why we have chosen that number, right? So I hope that makes sense. Let's take the next question now, which is simplify fully the rational function 3x squared minus 8x minus 3 over 2x squared minus 6x. So we could write this as the numerator 3 times 3 is 9. So product 9 minus 8 is the sum. So we could write 8x as 9x plus x, right? Minus 3 over 2x squared minus 6x. 2x is common. We get x minus 3. Clear? Now in the numerator, we can 3x is common in the first two terms. We get x minus 3. Here we have x minus 3 as such. Now we have 2x times x minus 3. We can take x minus 3 common in the numerator. We get 3x plus 1 as the other term. Denominator is 2x times x minus 3. Now x minus 3 and x minus 3 can cancel. So when you cancel, you have to write restriction that x is not equal to 3. In fact, x is not equal to 0 also, since x is also in the denominator. So what you get here is 3x plus 1 over 2x. So the simplified form really is 3x plus 1 over 2x. And the restrictions are that x is not equal to 3 and x is not equal to 0. Is that clear? So that is how we are going to solve question number 17. Question number 18. Here is a graph of y equals to sin x for minus 80 to 180, right? So that's the interval in which the graph is drawn. The question here is, on the grid, sketch the graph of sin x minus 2 in the same interval. So basically, we have to just move this 2 units down, correct? So this point will come at 2. The axis will now be not x equals to 0, but will be at x equals to 2, right? So that is going to be the axis, basically, right? And it will be this origin, the point at origin. Every point will move 2 units down. So basically, these are the points which we need to connect to get our graph. Is that clear to you? Right. So let me just sketch this. So that is how you're going to sketch it. We are almost at the end. Here is question number 19. The point P has coordinates 3, 4. The point Q has coordinates A, B. A line perpendicular to PQ is given by the equation 3x plus 2y equals to 7. Find the expression for B in terms of A. So first let's find the slope from the given line. So the line is 3x plus 2y equals to 7. If we rearrange, we get 2y equals to minus 3x plus 7, y equals to minus 3 over 2x plus 7 over 2. So from here, we get slope m as equals to minus 3 over 2, correct? Now any line which is perpendicular to this, what is going to be its slope? Let's find. So slope of PQ, which is perpendicular, right, will be, let's say MPQ will be equal to negative reciprocal, so it will be 2 over 3, correct? So let's find the equation now, and the equation of line PQ can be written as y equals to slope MPQ plus some constant. Let's call that constant as C. Now we have y equals to 2 over 3x, right? Sorry, 2 over 3x plus C. To get the value of C, let's substitute the point P, which is 3, 4. So that means 4 equals to 2 over 3 times 3 plus C, right? So that means 4 equals to 2 plus C, or 4 minus 2 is equals to C, which is 2. So therefore, we get the equation as y equals to 2 over 3x plus 2, correct? So that becomes the equation in general. Now, let us find the relation of B in terms of A. Since the point AB is on this line, we can write this as B equals to 2 over 3A plus 2. Since the point Q is on this line, correct? So that becomes the relation of B in terms of A, right? So that becomes our answer. So B equals to 2 over 3A plus 2. Right, so we'll write this relation here. So we have B equals to 2 over 3A plus 2. Now let's move on and take up the last question. Question number 20. N is an integer such that 3n plus 2 is less than or equal to 14 and 6n over n square plus 5 is greater than 1. Find all possible values of n. Okay, so we are given two conditions. Let's work with these two conditions. 3n plus 2 is less than or equal to 14 means 3n is less than or equal to 14 minus 2, or 3n is less than or equals to 12, n is less than or equal to 12 over 3. So we get n is less than or equal to 4. So that is one condition, correct? From the other condition, we get 6n over n square plus 5 is greater than 1. Now since n square plus 5 is greater than 0, we can multiply on both sides. We can write this as 6n is greater than n square plus 5, right? If this was not true, we could not do this, right? Since it's a positive quantity, we can do it. That is kind of important to understand. Okay, so 0 is greater than n square minus 6n plus 5. So 0 is greater than, let's factor this. 5 times 1, both negative. We get this as our equation. Now if you sketch this parabola, it will be kind of what? It is a parabola which is going to open upwards with zeros at 1 and 5, right? It's kind of like this. So this parabola will have zeros at 1 and 5. We want this value to be less than 0. So that means anywhere in between these two values, right? 1 and 5. So the value of n is greater than 1 and less than 5. Now if we combine both these conditions, that n is between 1 greater than 1 and less than 5, and n is less than equal to 4, possible solutions are, or I should write all possible values, are n equals to, n cannot be 1, right? This is saying n is greater than 1, right? So it is 2, 3, and 4. It can be equal to 4, right? So that becomes our solution. So n is 2, 3, or 4. So I hope that helps you to understand how do we solve this particular question. Now with that, we end up this solutions to GCSE set of questions of the year 2018. I hope it helps. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for watching and all the best.